All right, everybody. Welcome back to Coog Recruits. Happy March Madness. My bracket's already cooked, but hopefully you guys are doing a little bit better. You're with my guest. Can you introduce yourself, man?
Yeah, my name is Miller Malone. I'm a transfer from Western Kentucky. I play linebacker at Houston.
All right, man. So it turns out you and I have something in common. We're both second generation Cougs. So yeah, break that down for the audience a little bit, man.
Yeah, so both my parents went to U of H. They both played sports. My mom swam, and my dad played football here. So yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, man. And there's another connection people might not know about, and that's your big brother back in the Case Keenum and the Heisman. Yeah, yeah. What was up with
Yeah,
that, man?
yeah. So um, yeah, that's really cool. My older brother, when Case Keenum was in the Heisman race, he was the Heisman Trophy that they carried around campus on game day, which was really cool. And took a while to get that paint off of him. So
Yeah, I'm sure you did.
yeah,
That's something I thought about. Like, man, it must have been like a crazy shower afterwards.
yeah, he was gold for a couple days.
Be like that. Be like that.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm guessing, like due to your parents, you went to a few games over the years growing up.
Oh
So what
yeah.
was like your favorite game that you went to in the past?
Oh man. Honestly, I couldn't pick one specifically. It just kind of all blended together. But going to the tailgates and hanging out with family, friends, and just the atmosphere that surrounded that piece was just awesome. That's what I grew up on, and it's great.
Yeah, for sure, man. So as you mentioned, you transferred over from Western Kentucky, but you played pretty early as like a freshman and a sophomore. So what was that like?
Yeah, it was awesome. So out of high school, I got a couple different offers. I chose to go to Western Kentucky. I had a good feeling, great coaches over there. And I had a feeling I was going to play early and often. So that's what I wanted. Um, and that's what I accomplished. I got to play. I was a special teams guy my freshman year. I got to get in the mix a little bit. And then sophomore year, I had my first start as a linebacker too. So
Sure, man. So as you mentioned, like you had some recruitment when you were in high school, but then you had another recruitment when you were a portal player. So what was the
right.
difference between those? What was it like doing it as a college student?
The first time around, it's really cool. That first experience, getting your first offer, talking to these coaches, and really great experience. And then come around the second time, I would say it was a little more stressful for me. You kind of taking a chance in the portal. Not everyone ends up where they want to be or in a good fit. So it's really a risk to hop in there and kind of bet on yourself. So that's what I did.
Yeah, man. That sometimes like the taking that risk leads to a lot of rewards. We got some dudes that came in last year, like Amari Thomas, Tanner Kojal, like who were really bet on themselves and they ended up paying off.
Yeah, man, definitely.
So I'm sure you had a few schools that are coming after you in the portal, but what made Houston like the best fit for you, legacy aside?
I would say, getting back closer to home was a big part, a big factor in that decision. Um, family's a big part of who I am and, why I play the sport. So, coming back home was, a big part of that. So,
Sure. Do you have like any personal and individual goals for the 2026 season?
yeah, I do. I want just to get better as a player, help my team any way they see fit. I want to be a role player as needed, and then when it's my time to have my opportunity, I want to capture that.
Yeah, for sure. And one thing is that, you're still pretty young. Some of the other portal guys might be like through last year, but you
Right.
still have time to kind of get developed and grow as a player. So that's really dope.
Yeah.
All right. Um, so I know a lot of guys that some guys they don't really like to watch a lot of like college ball like when they're in the game. Some guys like watch a lot
Mm.
of NFL. But college or NFL, are there any players that you either grew up watching that you watch right now that you kind of like model your game after that you really just enjoy watching?
Yeah, so growing up, I was a big Texans fan, when they had Brian Cushing and the
Oh yeah.
JJ Watt era, when they were just clanging and banging out there. So I grew up watching them, and then study wise, I really like to study my game, mirror my game after Luke Kuechly and obviously Brian Cushing, those guys, put their body on the line and just leave it all out on the field. So
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, Brian Cushing is my favorite player growing up, man. He was
oh,
fun
come
guy to
on now.
watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, I still remember that one game where he was bleeding. I was like, dang, this guy's crazy.
Oh man, he's iconic for sure.
For sure, for sure. All right. So I know you grew up, you went to Barbers Hills High School, right?
Yes, sir.
So I guess you know some of the Houston food scene a little bit. So what's like one of your favorite restaurants in like the Houston area?
Ooh. That's tough. We got some really good barbecue places out here. Um, Man, that's tough. Yeah, I had to say one of the barbecue places is JM Bar. Is that what it's called?
Oh yeah, yeah, J Bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great spot.
hmm And a great sponsor. I'm just saying, man. They support the
Oh
Coug.
yeah.
So
Yeah. 100%.
I think their owner actually went to UH, if I'm not wrong. But I think he
Really
did. Yeah, man. Yeah.
awesome.
All right. So are there any like Big 12 teams that you're looking forward to playing?
Yeah, I have two of mine, I have had some buddies that played with me at Western that transferred to West Virginia and TCU. So I'm excited to run into them this season, so that'll be fun.
There should be some fun games. I know we've been having a back and forth with TCU recently, so it's
Right.
definitely going to be a dope game.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. So I heard that you're a bit of a gamer. So we talking about PlayStation, PC, or Xbox? What are
Oh,
you using?
PlayStation all the way for sure.
Yeah, that's the right answer. That's the right answer.
Yeah.
All right. So I know you've been with the team for like a few months now. Are there like who's like a player like on defense that fans they might not be as aware about? He might be a little under the radar. Who's like one guy you want to hype up right now?
Let me think here. I'd have to say probably my dog Creed, a Christian. He's been balling out. So my boy Christian.
Yeah, man. Yeah, he's been on the team for a little bit now, so it'll be nice
Yeah.
to have like a little breakout, man.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, man. Well, that's pretty much it. Anything you want to say to the fans out there, who are, spring game about any fall, anything like that?
Yeah, man. Just be on the lookout. I'm always be on the field. Giving it my all. So go Cougs.
All right, man. Go Cougs.